Well, this is week 16 on the garden tour. We didn't do a 15 because we were in Washington State visiting our daughter, and we took a trip to the Oregon coast to Cannon Beach, to the Haystack Rock, and I'll try to post a link to that little short video of what it looked like. The Oregon coast is amazing. So anyway, here we go. It's not much to show, but we'll see. You see my catnip. He's kind of struggling. Still having a problem with these darn black worms. I don't know how to get rid of them, why they're here, but they have been decimating the garden. That there is all strawberries. They're still looking good. One thing I wanted to mention, all of the ones that were trailing off that I had in water, before we left, I put them in the different holes at the bottom, thinking they would be fine. Well, I came back and they were all dead. So this time what I'm doing is I've been following the Rusted Gardener, and he's got these green stalks too. And what he's doing, he's either putting in the pocket and letting them go from there, or he's also put them in some soil in a Ziploc bag and putting some slits in it, and then putting a hole in the corner of it so the water can drain, but kind of sticking them in there so you would have more in there. But I think what I'm going to try to do, I did move these around to where this is an empty pocket, and then because I had both of them filled with strawberries, so I put the empty pocket here and I put the other one here. So I'm trying to get them into the empty pockets. One crazy thing I wanted to show you. What is that? Is that ants? Back in April, on these bottom two, I had planted some yellow watermelon seeds that I saved from a watermelon I had gotten from Hickory Bluff Berry Farm in Holly Hill. And so in April, I put them down. Guess what's popped up? Another one. We got that one, and then we got this one. And the other two Greg had taken down. One of them had a watermelon growing on it, and something got the watermelon and that vine that it was on. So I'm not sure exactly what it is, but he said the other one, it's got two watermelons on it now. I don't know if you can see those little things there. I've got 3 of them already, and I got a good deal at Lowe's on 6 more. And so right now I'm just kind of scattering them around, trying to figure out where I want to place them. This one here I'm kind of concerned with, and if I do something there, it'll have to be low, because that's the chickadee birdhouse, and I don't want something to be able to climb on it and then jump on there and get the chickadee babies. Our jalapeno bush is still producing all sorts of jalapenos. Still got blooms on it. I did put some liquid fish fertilizer on it to see if it would help with these yellowing of the leaves. I'm not sure what's going on. It just started. So, and here, this was where our cucumbers were, and Greg plowed it. Well, I like to do volunteer tomatoes. That's how I got 70 tomato plants. Won't happen this year. We already got some volunteers that are popping up, and I've already told family and friends that y'all getting tomato plants. see. He just pulled up the last 2 tomato plants here, so that's why those leaves are still there. He hadn't plowed those under. The bottle brush is looking so good, and the limbs are starting to stiffen on it now, so that's good. And in past videos I was saying that our bell peppers are not producing. Well, we've gotten 4 of them off, and all 4 of them had like that bottom rot that like tomatoes get, which means they're not getting enough calcium, but I'm getting all sorts of them. Now, I did put some of that liquid fish fertilizer on them too. I mean, I'm getting a bunch of them off of this bush. I mean, just look, uh-oh. I think that's that bottom rot. I guess I'll try to do some eggshells or something, or Tums. Someone said Tums might do it too. This one here, he still hasn't produced any. The leaves are looking a bit bad. I don't know. I'm not sure what's going on. Now, I'm very surprised that we don't have any volunteers. Let's see. That might be a volunteer right there, because this is where we had a lot of tomatoes at, and I would drop all sorts of them. That one might be, no, I don't know. So, oh, there's one. You got that one. But I'm not planting any tomatoes. This is all gonna be volunteers. Oh, one thing I noticed, now there's a lot of pine straw in here because it's underneath a pine tree. The pink honeysuckles that we planted, I planted one in here and 2 over by the shed. Those 2 didn't survive, but this one is looking really good. I guess it likes kind of a partial shade instead of all sun. And this zinnias, this is what I'm talking about. See, these black worms are just devastating. Now, we sprayed some BT on them, and I dropped some more seeds, and they're coming up. So, Mr. Squirrel, I got a new bird feeder, and when I was dumping the seeds in the net thing, some of them fell on the ground. So I guess that's what he's getting. This, I dropped some seeds, but I don't see any coming up yet. It was just a couple of days ago, and I need to water it. That's the other bottle brush. I'm sure the Hummers will be happy when that grows. And we got these volunteers that are coming up. If you've been watching any of my other videos, this tomato bush right here started out as a knuckle I broke off of one. All I did was put it in the ground, and this is what it's doing. We're getting blooms and all. This one here, we tried to remember how we got this one, but for the life of us, we cannot remember. And this one too. Let's see, we got a little cherry tomato on it. You see, it's got a bunch of cherry tomatoes on it. Getting some volunteers here. So here's some more. They're starting to come up. We're expected to get some rain from that, it's a tropical storm now, but they're expecting it to be a Category 3 hurricane by the time it hits Florida. Thoughts and prayers are with those people. We went through Hurricane Hugo back in 1989, and that was not a fun time. And here I'm surprised I don't have any volunteers on it. I think that one, this here, we're not sure if it's a cucumber or what. Oh, that one might be a little volunteer. And this over here, I'll show you what I mean by volunteers. See how I just kind of dropped them down and letting them rot in the soil. And it's starting, I see some other ones that we had dropped. Try to get it where the sun isn't on it. So there's another one. You can see plowed it, so they're kind of mixed all around in there. So we'll see how many come up. Again, there will not be 70 tomato plants here. These are some of the zinnia seeds I dropped. See the black worms just tearing it up. This lattice that we put up, that's what we had for our cucumbers, and we're just trying to keep these zinnias. Aren't they pretty? The hummers love them. Trying to keep them. Okay, someone tell me if that's a good or bad grasshopper. That's the second time I've had to get him off of that zinnia. I don't know. I don't know all the critters yet. But I dropped some more down at the bottom. I don't see them coming up yet, but the ones I did drop down, they're starting to come up. So, but all in all, it was a great garden. The banana bushes, especially this one, it's looking so good. This one here, I'm proud of it. It got hit hard by the frost, and he's a fighter. He's coming back. There was some blooms on this one. I see some more little pieces of bloom. I guess they already fell off, but it's pretty. So I'm going to show y'all what I've started seeds for the fall garden, and I've already got my other green stock all filled with soil. So I'm just waiting on everything to get big enough and kind of cool off out here a little bit. And I'm definitely going to wait until after we get all that rain from Idalia, I think is how you pronounce it. So I'm going to wait for after that. But I'll show you the seedlings I got planted and how much tomato stuff I have canned from the 70 tomato plants, and that's not counting what we gave away and what we ate. So, oh, there's Mr. Crow. Alright, I'm going to show you those seedlings. These are the seedlings that I'm growing to plant and also to put in the green stalks. These three here are going down to Greg's mom's. I've got a squash, a cucumber here, and something I'm just trying. I don't know if it would happen, but I got potato seeds, and look, we got a little potato growing. So I don't know if it'll happen, but anyway, all the ones that are like in here and here are actually going to go in the ground, and then these I'm going to put in the green stalks, and probably in one of those circles I'm going to put the dill in there, because I have been told dill can kind of take over. So nothing has come up in that one yet, but I'm doing basil, lavender, different lettuces and stuff to go in there, and then planted out in the garden we'll do zucchini, radishes, just a little bit of everything, but I'm gonna let them mature a little bit more before we plant them. I've got some little covers to put over them to try to keep critters from eating them before they get matured. We'll see how that works, and I'll keep you updated on that. These are some of the tomatoes I had in the freezer that I didn't have time to can. So we are getting ready to can them. Got a whole row of the larger tomatoes and then a whole bunch of cherry tomatoes. Looks like I got a lot of work ahead of me. I'm gonna take the skins off the larger ones before I can them. So we'll see how it goes. And this is what all of those tomatoes turned into. I've got 4 pint jars and 12 quart jars, all of sauce. With the large tomatoes, it was real easy. All I did was when I took them out the freezer, I wanted to take the skins off the big ones, and so I just ran them under cold water, each one, and the skins came right off. I didn't have to let them thaw or anything. And so it was real easy to do. But it doesn't look like much, but this is a lot of hard work, especially for someone who has never canned before in their life. And this is what 70 tomato plants will do for you. It's my first year canning. Kind of proud that every single one of them popped. So I've got 38 quart, and I've kind of mixed it up a little bit. I've got like cherry tomatoes in here. Just kind of a mixture of everything that has different spices and stuff. Just trying to figure out what we like. And then we've got 7 jars of dill pickles. So I think all in all, we had a prosperous gardening experience this year. So I just still need to put the tabs on now. I was waiting for them to cool off, so that will get done. Put the little tabs on it, put the date and what's in there. These I didn't put any seasoning or anything in there, so that way we can do it. Hey everyone, we just wanted to kind of go over what we did for our spring summer garden and what we feel we did right and what we feel we did wrong and how we can get better, and see what we learned and what we don't want to repeat next year. You agree?
I agree. I think the biggest thing we learned is we don't want 70 tomato plants
Don't want 70 tomato plants.
That's a little too many.
Yeah. The reason why we ended up with that many is we wanted to have a garden down at his mom's. So I didn't know, we've tried to do a garden the last couple of years and totally have failed at it. And so I just bought packets of tomatoes. It's Miss Lucky, she wants down now, of course. And so I seeded them, and I decided to seed the whole packets. So I had a bunch of little tomato plants, and some of them survived, a lot of them didn't. I didn't know the different varieties of tomatoes. I didn't do my homework. I just thought tomatoes were tomatoes, and I ended up giving some away. We did take some down to his mom's and took some to my dad, and planted some didn't work, so we would put some more in their spots. And then we had volunteers come up, and they looked really good, so I didn't want to get rid of any. And we had originally planted cucumbers, zucchinis, radishes, collards, broccoli,
Brussels sprouts, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah.
A few
Anyway,
different things.
we planted them all by seed, and none of them came up. So I had gone. I still wanted cucumbers. I like the pickling cucumbers. I don't like the big cucumbers. So I went over to Little, and they had packs of cucumbers for sale. So it wasn't the pickling ones, it was the ones that you get that are like 5 or 6 inches long. And so I bought those, and we planted those, and they were doing fantastic. And then all of a sudden they started growing, and it wasn't what was on that picture on that little tab. These were long, skinny, curly cucumbers that I had never seen before. They were kind of bitter
Yeah.
in places.
They grew really well.
Yeah, they grew. I mean,
we
we had a
produced a
great
lot.
harvest,
Yeah,
but
but they were a little bitter.
yeah, they weren't good at all.
If you peeled them, they were a little better, but they still weren't as good as the pickling cucumbers that we
Yeah.
had.
So I don't know what the mix-up was, and I still don't know what kind these were, because I don't ever want to get them again. But some of the seeds that we planted for the pickling ones in a different area of the garden, all of a sudden they came up. So we had 2 plants of those come up, so I was glad to get those. So we did have some pickling ones there, and they're very good. And that's really all I ever want to plant is the pickling ones. I like the small, they're tender and everything. But yeah, so when none of that stuff came up, I decided to just go ahead and take all of these tomato volunteers and whatever we had left and just plant it in this place. And that's how we ended up with 70 tomatoes. I don't recommend that at all. It's a lot of work because, you have the different ones. You got the deterrent ones that only grow so tall, which we had a few of those. Those were fine. But the indeterminate ones, we had some, 9 feet tall,
At
10
least.
feet.
Some approaching
It's
9 to 10.
so
They were-
tall. We kept having to add stakes and everything,
Yeah.
and they were just all over the place. Plus, you always had to, pick the knuckles off of them and just try to keep them in check. So I don't recommend that at all.
Yeah. For the record, the little 3-foot and 4-foot tomato trellises that you buy at Lowe's and other places, they don't contain most tomatoes. They're not good for that.
No, if you have determinate tomatoes, I think they're pretty good for that.
Yeah.
But anything the
Anything
indeterminate
that gets more than 4
that gets
feet
tall,
yeah.
nah. I think we're gonna this spring we're gonna install some cattle panels. I've already got the little hooks to hook them to it, and we're gonna see how that works. And plus, I am honing in on what varieties that I want to plant for our late summer garden. Now, we did just drop, if you watched the beginning of the video, we did drop tomatoes that we didn't eat, and we're already getting those volunteers coming up. So I'm going to have those volunteers. I don't know what they're going to be, if they're going to be the big tomatoes or if they're going to be the cherry tomatoes, but next spring, if any of these come up again, they're gone. I'm only going to get these certain ones, and I found a list of 5 of them I think I'm going to plant that are 2 of them are determinants and 3 of them are indeterminates. So, and we're just not going to have as many. But I want to have a variety of other things planted besides that. So,
Yeah, and I think that's one of the big things. We didn't have a large variety of things in the garden, mainly because a lot
Because
of the
they didn't
things
come up.
didn't come up, and then by the time we figured out that they didn't. It was kind of too late to plant some of those things. So certainly we'll do more indoor planting and set out the seedlings once they get up to a good height.
Yeah.
So we'll do more of that next year.
And another thing we need to figure out is controlling pests. We don't really like to put pesticides and stuff on the plants. We did use the BT. What else have we used?
Some copper stuff,
Copper for the
a little bit of neem oil.
cucumbers, yeah, and then we started with a neem oil, and I'm kind of wondering if we should have done that more on a regular basis or something.
Earlier.
Yeah, but we had a problem and still are having a problem with these little tiny black worms. They're tearing up my zinnias right now, and I'm afraid they're going to get onto my strawberries because I have found some on those, but I don't know what else to do. When we've had some tomato plants the past couple of years, we just had the hornworms, and they're pretty easy to spot. They may eat a good bit of the leaves before you find them, but they're easier to spot. But these black worms were all over. You could not keep up with them. And again, they're still eating my zinnias, and I don't know how to get rid of them. I'm afraid once I move these seedlings that I have growing inside, as soon as I move them out, are the black worms going to eat those up? So I don't know if I need to just rip everything out of the ground and just have them go away, or continue to spray. I don't know. If anybody has any ideas, please drop them in the comments. And we need all the help we can get. We're still learning, and that's why we started the YouTube channel. So that way we can go back to the beginning and see what the garden looked like and what we did along the way, so we can write down those mistakes, and we hopefully won't do them again next year. So
that's I mean, don't get me wrong, overall I think we had a successful garden with the things that we had. Tomatoes in particular we had just tons of, and cucumbers. It just wasn't the right cucumbers. So I think in general we learned some stuff and was able to work with what we had. Now we just want to get better.
Yeah, and we need to get better on how or when to water. And one thing I have learned that we're going to do every year is we're going to put mulch down. He can get some oak leaves down at his mom's, and that's what we planted, or we kind of spread out. Helps keep the moisture in the ground, because we're right outside of Charleston, South Carolina. It gets hot here. It gets humid here. You got to do whatever you can to try to keep moisture in the ground.
Did a good job of keeping the weeds out too.
It really did. If you don't like the weed, get you some leaves. I don't recommend pine straw. Copperheads like pine straw.
Yeah, pine straw is a little bit too acidic too. So.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But the oak leaves seem to work really well, or whatever mulch you want to use.
Yeah, and that's what Dad used back when he was gardening, and he was the gardening pro. So, so that was a pretty easy choice to make when we decided we wanted to mulch.
So, but we appreciate you guys following along on our journey. The journey continues. I showed you my seedlings I've got growing in there. I'm so anxious to put some of the seedlings in my green stalks to see how they do. The strawberries seem to be doing really well. I didn't get any, but I understand that that's not uncommon for the first year. I'm hoping I can keep them alive over the winter. I did buy the cover that's supposed to keep, I think, like 8 degrees warmer inside. So I'll put that on when we start having some, really cold nights. When we do, we get some cold nights.
Yeah.
And not too many, thank goodness. Hopefully we won't get
You'll
snow
get
this year.
half a dozen to a dozen a year
Yeah.
where it's well below freezing.
So, but we're enjoying this journey.
Yeah.
Now that he retired in March, I got him working in the garden. I had to give him a hobby so he'd not bother me any.
Now I'm gonna have to get her retired, so I'll have some help.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, you got anything else to add?
No, I think that's about it for me.
Well, again, we appreciate you guys watching us, and those that have subscribed, thank you. We're going to see what this late summer into fall garden does, so I will probably start a new line of video on those. And in the meantime, if you are not subscribed to us, please do, because we are calling this outdoors because we just want to kind of showcase what all the Charleston and surrounding areas have to offer. Once it cools off, we'll be able to go out in the woods more. Right now there's a thing called snakes and mosquitoes out there. Kathy, don't do that.
Yeah.
So, and we're hoping to get back out on the boat.
Yeah.
Mother Nature hadn't let us get out on the boat to catch fish lately.
Yep.
So,
Yeah,
it's,
we'll do more outdoor videos, more old place videos. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
So-
If you're not subscribed, also, he's trying to get some family land that his dad built a cabin on. He's trying to get that back looking good, because he hadn't had time since he was working.
Yeah.
And so,
It's a process. It'll take a while, but
Yeah.
I'll try to keep you posted on the journey.
yeah. So, well, until next time, thank you for watching.
Thank you.